Hello everyone and welcome to the full stack development crash course. Today we'll be looking at MongoDB, ReactJS and NodeJS. So let's get started. About me, I'm Aditya Sukumar. I'm a third year engineering student doing my BTech in artificial intelligence and machine learning with a specialization in security and privacy from Symbiosis Institute of Technology, Pune. Enough about me, now let's get the actual content for the day started. We will be covering four main topics today. One, a very short introduction to full stack development. Then we'll be going to MongoDB, which is a NoSQL based query language. And then we'll be looking at Node.js and then React.js. On through the way of the course, we will be looking at some subparts and also some hands-on implementation of the same. So what exactly is full stack development? Full stack development is the process of designing, building, testing, and deploying a web application from start to end and connecting it with the front end and the back end. Now, full stack developers would generally work on technologies such as JavaScript, C, C++, Node.js, Angular, Vue, PHP, Python, React, SQL, SQLite, and MongoDB, which is a NoSQL. But as we all know, we will be focusing on three main parts today, which is Node.js, React, and MongoDB. So let's start with the same. Starting with MongoDB. What is MongoDB? MongoDB is a non-relational database management system, DBMS, and it is a NoSQL database solution, which means it does not require a relational database management system. What exactly does that mean? You don't have to specify schemas for the same. It can be completely unstructured or structured. It is document oriented, it is easy to administer, and it also has load balancing. Now to install MongoDB, you'll have to go to mongodb.com/try/download shell to install the MongoDB shell or the Mongo SH. Then we'll be installing the Mongo Compass, which is the GUI version of the same, and then also the community server edition if it deploys servers. So today in MongoDB, we'll be only focusing on CRUD. As you can see, it means create, read, update, and delete. So what exactly is CRUD in MongoDB? Let's start with C. Creating data involves inserting documents and into collections. Collections are a set of data which can be put into documents. And why exactly NoSQL ACES here is that the documents need not follow a specific schema structure. It can be completely schemaless. And then R. Reading data in MongoDB is basically getting the answer back from our data, whatever data we have stored. Now, in case the data has to be changed, that's where we update. Update allows us to modify existing documents within a collection, and MongoDB provides various methods to update entire documents, one document, or just a specific field to perform more granular changes. Deleting is the final step wherein we just delete the data completely out of it. We remove the document from the collection, we delete all documents or one document or specific targeted documents using various MQL queries. So let's perform some CRUD operation hands-on in our MongoDB database. First, let's drag the Compass GUI interface onto our screen so that we can easily look at the changes happening in real time. Then we will open our command prompt and open the Mongo shell and we are connected. So first, let's use a particular database. We'll create a database called Crash Course. Once we are at Crash Course, we will first perform the first operation, which is C, create. Let's create a document. It can be a simple document, and let's just type db.collection, insert one, name is John, age 30, city New York. It's simple operation. We'll enter this and it is acknowledged true. Now let's check our Compass back again to see if such a thing has been done. Yes, we can see a database called Crash Course. When we click on it, we see a collection and we have John, age 30, and New York over here. Now let's come back and let's do insert many, which is when you want to create multiple collections, multiple documents at the same time. Then we use insert collection. First, I'll insert Alice, age 25, city Los Angeles. Then I'll insert Bob, age 35, city Chicago. And I'll insert it. It said both objects have been inserted. Now let's once again check our Mongo Compass. We will refresh this and we can see Alice and Bob have been added over here. So great, that marks the C of the CRUD, the create. Now next is R. What if we want to read them? So very simple, to read what all documents we have, we will just type db.collection.find. When we do this, we will get the entire documents that we have created so far. So now we figured out everybody, but what if we want to read only a specific query parameter? For that, we will type a query inside the find command, and let's say here we are trying to figure out everybody whose age is greater than 30. When we run it, we get only John and Bob, 30 and 35, and Alice, who is 25, does not come up in this list. And now next up, we will look at the next of the CRUD, which is you update. Let's say we want to update something and want to update John over here, and we will change his city over here from New York to San Francisco. So we will be doing db.collection update one, name John, and set city as San Francisco. When we do this, it said it matched one and it modified one. Now let's go back to our compass. Here, John is still New York. We will refresh it and John has gone to San Francisco. Hope you had a wonderful journey. Next, if you want to update many, then let's just say we have whoever is in New York will be going to New Jersey. Now, if you notice something right now after the update, there's no one in New York in our cluster. So let's see what it says in case it does not find anybody. It said matched count 0 and modified is 0. Hence, we can see that it will automatically have error detections. It will not let your database crash or anything. And MongoDB is great in that aspect. Now we are coming to the final part of CRUD, which is D for delete. Now, if you want to delete a single document, you might have already guessed it. It is very easy. We do db.collection.delete1. And let's say you want to delete Alice from this list. We write name Alice and it said acknowledge to delete count 1. We go back to our database and Alice is gone. And this works over here. And now let's say we want to add another query to delete multiple documents, and we will do it with the same age query to find, and we'll delete everybody who's above the age of, who's less than the age of 30. And it said true delete count 0 because there is nobody less than 30. Now if we put greater than or equal to 30, it said true and deleted 2 because both John and Bob were greater than equal to 30. Now if we go back to our database has no collections right now. So that is the CRUD operations in MongoDB. Now let's go back to the next part. NodeJS. NodeJS is an open source cross-platform runtime environment that will let us type JavaScript code outside of a web browser. So let us say that where the front end and the backend logic has to be written together, that's where Node.js comes into play because it will enable the developer to build both front end and backend in JavaScript. But how is front end written? It is written using JSX. Then JavaScript and Node.js uses an event-driven architecture where every functions are called in response to event. This makes it very, very efficient when it comes to handling multiple connections without requesting a separate thread. Now we can go to nodejs.com .org to download the Node.js for your PC. You can download it for Windows, Mac, and Linux. Now, coming to the most important aspect of Node.js, which is NPM or the Node Package Manager. So what exactly does the Node Package Manager do? It is the standard package manager to easily install, discover, delete, download, and use various resources and reusable code snippets called packages. And these packages were built by various open source developers, JavaScript developers, web app developers for ease of use to perform various functionalities like web development, data manipulation, testing, and much more. NPM is a very, very wide repository containing millions of open source packages. You or me or anybody can build a package and open source it for millions of users to use. Why NPM? One, faster development. It has ready-made readable code blocks to build things quicker. It gives us better code because it has so many packages which are well maintained. It helps us build consistent code. We can reuse code across projects for more standardized and uniform code base, and definitely less code to write as we're importing packages to make things easier. Let's learn more about node packages. To install any type of node package, we can use a simple npm install, and we can add a particular file. Now let us say we want to do npm install for math.js. We will do npm install math.js. And then it will fetch from the internet repositories, it will figure out the best source, and it will install it onto your PC. There we can see that it added 11 packages and audited 332 packages, found 0 vulnerabilities. We have safely installed math.js into our npm and node on our device, and we can easily use the math.js library to make build faster math oriented codes and perform calculations. npm install package will add, and later on we can also add a package.json file to install packages in bulk. So in a package.json, we can have all the packages that we need for a project, and we can directly npm install the JSON file to load and install all the dependencies at one go. Next, update. npm update will make the packages updated, all the packages or very specific packages. As we said, it's an open source community and they are fixing and developing and updating every packages every single day. So it is best to stay updated. So for that, we will type npm update math.js. Since we installed it recently, we won't have any major updates. We can see it is already up to date and everything is perfect. Next, we have the top commands of npm, which is npm install, npm update, which checks for outdated packages. Npm init will initialize a new npm node package or folder inside your PC. npm run will run a particular node.js command. npm ls will list all our packages, and npm start will start the particular package. Now let's try running npm ls to see what all packages I've installed. It says I've installed React app for version 1.2.1. I've installed Express, Math.js, which we just did, npm, React Router DOM, and Slick Carousel version 1.8. So we can install and track n number of apps, their versions, and what all we have installed in Node.js and npm. So let us say I'm done with Math.js and I want to install it to save space and computation. I'll just type npm uninstall and Math.js. We can see that it takes a while and it removed the same 11 packages which it had installed back then. And now if we try to run npm ls, we will not find Math.js. That was a very simple introduction to npm packages, and moving on to the next topic now, that is ReactJS. ReactJS is a JavaScript library for building very cool user interfaces. It is used to build single page applications or SPAs. React allows us to create usable UI components. So let's build a simple form component with state management. We will be focusing on building a React form which will create and take user inputs, and once we click on submit, that component will take the form state somewhere else and load it, and we can further process it somewhere else. For this demo, we'll just take the input and store it in our console log. Now to start building, open your favorite IDE. I use VS Code, you may use any of your choice. And if you have not installed your React app already, you can use npx create-react-app to build a React application, and it will load all the files up to you. We can see the app.js is the main file. To start the application, we'll just run npm start. And we can see that it has started the development server over here. And this is the basic React template. Now, if we have to build the main course, we need to obviously edit the source file with us. So first we have to we'll go back to our VS Code page, and we will create a new component. And how do we do that? In our src folder, we will create a folder called components, and then we will create a new file. Let's name this file simple form.js. Now in this simple form code, we will start to write our code. We will start with import React use state from React. Then we will build a function called simple form, and this is what the function will do. We will first define state variables for form fields. Let's say we'll name a variable constant name, set name, and then we will also make email and set email. Next, we will write the function to handle form submission, and let's call it const handle state equal to event. And we start over here. let's call it event prevent default to prevent the default. And what we'll do it is it will alert the name and email into our browser. Let's also add this to our console first. Console log name and email, and we'll get an alert as well. So this is the function we have built this. Now let's close this function, and then here we will type return, and we will build a simple form which will take the name and it will take the input value as well. And we will build a button to submit it, and that will close the form. And let's export this form as simple form. And now we will edit app.js. We will import simple form from our component simple form, that is this file, and then in the app we will call with the h1 tag simple form example, and we'll call the simple form component. Now let's have this side by side and let us see the changes. It compiles, and it compiles successfully. We can see a simple form with name and email. We put our name and a simple email, and we click on submit. And if we open the console, we can see a form submitted. Let's try that out again. You see form submitted with name and email just as we coded in a simple form to get it. So that was a main simple way to get the form state and into a component. With this, we can build much more complex. We can modify the simple form function to have much more complex actions. We can add into a database, remove from database, perform even more complex methods. And with that, we can build much more complex React applications. That was the crux of the whole thing. We learned about MongoDB, Node, and React in today's video. You can connect with me on LinkedIn, GitHub, and X, and you can email me at my email address. Hope you really enjoyed this video. I'm Aditya Kumar. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, thank you. Bye bye.